Welcome to Math with Professor V. This is video lecture for section 3.2 for AP Precalculus on sine, cosine, and tangent. So the basis of our discussion in this video hinges on the unit circle, which we have right here. The unit circle is a special circle. Its center is at the origin, boop, and then its radius is 1. So this point here, that's at 1, 0. This is at 0, 1. This would be -1, 0, and then down here, 0, -1. Now the equation of the unit circle is x squared plus y squared equals 1. That's important to remember. A lot of the identities that we're going to be learning in trigonometry also come from this relationship. Now, because the radius of the unit circle is 1, the distance from the origin to any point xy on the circle is 1. So here's the origin. The distance from any point there on the circle back to the origin is always 1, since the radius of our circle is 1. Okay. Now, when we measure angles in trigonometry, we always start from the positive x-axis. So this is our starting point for measuring angles. One full revolution around the circle is 2 pi radians. Where do we get that from? Well, remember, a formula for the circumference of a circle is that it's equal to 2 pi times the radius. So on the unit circle, that radius is equal to 1. So the circumference is going to be 2 pi times 1, which is 2 pi. So what that translates to for us is if we map out the length, right, or the circumference of this entire unit circle, it's going to be exactly 2 pi. So starting here, we're on the positive x-axis, that's 0 radians. If you go all the way around back to where you started, then you're back at 2 pi radians. If you end up at the halfway point right here, starting from the positive x-axis, that would be half of 2 pi. So this right here is pi radians, okay? Up here at the positive y-axis, that would be at pi over 2, yes? Cut this in half again, right there. What about down here? So this is 1 pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, which is pi. Down here takes us to 3 pi over 2. And I mean, you could even cut it into fourths if you want. Let me get rid of that stuff. If you want to cut it into fourths, then that would be maybe right here. That would be pi over 4. Up here is 2 pi over 4, which is pi over 2. Come another fourth, then we're at 3 pi over 4. 4 pi over 4 is pi. 5 pi over 4. 6 pi over 4 is 3 pi over 2. This is 7 pi over 4. You get the idea. So you can cut up the circumference, right, into whatever fractional quantity you want. Okay, now instead of calling everything circumference C, we use S for arc length more often when we're in trigonometry. So we have a formula for arc length. S is equal to R times theta. And so on the unit circle, since the radius is 1, S, the arc length, is equal to the angle. Okay, so let me explain what's going on here. The arc length is the portion of the unit circle, right, that's getting traced out, and the angle theta is in here. So if we say pi over 4 radians, that means starting at x equals 0, you sweep out pi over 4 up to here. But on the unit circle, since it's such a special circle, pi over 4 not only matches the value of the angle, it also matches the amount of arc length that you have here. So S is also equal to pi over 4, meaning this is considered pi over 4 radians as an angle, as well as the amount of arc length that's traced out on the unit circle, okay? Now you might have noticed like 0 and 2 pi represent the same place or the same point on the unit circle, 1, 0, right? If I say we're at 0 radians on the unit circle, then you know we're at 1, 0. If I say we're at 2 pi radians, same place. So these two angles are called coterminal angles. So the definition that we're going to work with is right here. Two angles in standard position with the same terminal side are called coterminal angles. Terminal side meaning where you stop measuring them. So 0 radians stops here, 2 pi radians stops here. Let's think about other angles that are coterminal. Pi over 2 would be coterminal with what other angle? Well, we would need another angle that also stopped up here at 0, 1. So pi over 2, add another all the way around. How much is all the way around? It's 2 pi. So pi over 2 plus 2 pi, that's pi over 2 plus 4 pi over 2, which is 5 pi over 2. Also, when you go in the opposite direction, so standard orientation is counterclockwise. If you measure your angle clockwise, then it has a minus sign on it. So down to here is negative pi over 2. And notice negative pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2 are coterminal, right? If I go this way, that's negative pi over 2. If I go around the opposite direction, that's positive 3 pi over 2. And notice, how are these two angles related? Well, they're 2 pi apart. If I take negative pi over 2 and I add 2 pi, then I get 3 pi over 2. So here's a rule that you could use to figure out coterminal angles, okay? And I'm going to show you some interesting notation. Maybe it's new, maybe it's not. You have theta, that's your original angle, plus we can keep adding 2 pi over and over and over, or subtracting 2 pi over and over and over. So how do you say the over and over part in math? You say 2 pi times k, where k is an integer, right? So you have to add 2 pi or 4 pi or 6 pi or subtract that much. Okay, very good. So let's practice finding some angles that are coterminal. If I told you, give me another angle that's coterminal with pi, okay? So you could simply say, oh, I'm going to add 2 pi. So 3 pi is coterminal. You could also say, I'm going to subtract 2 pi. So negative pi is coterminal. And that should make sense. So if you're starting here measuring, negative pi means you go this way and you would stop at the same place as if you had gone positive pi around the unit circle. And then pi plus 2 pi equaling 3 pi. So this is 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi. You can see how we get back to the same place. Okay, good. Let's move on. Now, once an angle lands on the circle, it determines a unique point xy. That point is where the trigonometry comes from. So here I have again a circle. This time it's not a unit circle necessarily. We've left the radius to be anything. It could be any r. R could be 1, but it doesn't have to be, okay? Now, the cosine of an angle tells us how far we moved horizontally around the circle. So cosine of theta, of this angle theta right here, is defined to be the following ratio. It's x divided by r, because it's measuring how much we moved horizontally, how much we moved in the x direction around the circle over r. Now, when we're on the unit circle, something special happens, because remember, r is equal to 1 on the unit circle. So cosine of theta is equal to x over 1, which is just x, when we're on the unit circle. Similarly, the sine of an angle tells us how far we moved vertically around the circle. So sine of theta, vertically, what is that captured by? Y over r. Now on the unit circle, what would that be? Well, on the unit circle, sine of theta is equal to y over r is 1, which would just give me back y. Good. Now, tangent compares the vertical change to the horizontal change. So that's defined by the following ratio, y over x. Notice it doesn't involve r at all. So tangent of theta is defined exactly the same on the unit circle. It doesn't simplify further than that, okay? All right, let's look at an example so you can see how to compute these ratios, the cosine of an angle, the sine of an angle, and tangent of some angle. Okay, so the problem says angle theta is in standard position and intersects the circle at point P. So what does that mean? When it's in standard position, that means we're measuring starting at the positive x-axis and the angle is swept out in a counterclockwise direction. So let me show you. So we're starting here, and then theta is being measured this way, and its terminal side intersects the circle at point P. So basically, theta starts here, ends here. This is my theta, okay? Find sine of theta, cosine of theta, and tangent of theta. Well, we just saw sine of theta is the ratio of y over r, the radius of the circle. Cosine theta is the ratio of x over r, and tangent of theta is the ratio of y over x. Since I have this point P, I know the value of x and y. The only thing I'm missing is r. But notice this is a circle centered at the origin. So the equation of a circle centered at the origin is always x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So we can find r. They gave me x and y, right? So 8 squared plus 15 squared is r squared. So that's 64 plus 225 is r squared. So that's going to be 289 is r squared. And remember, r is never negative. Only x and y can be positive and negative. So r is just going to be positive 17. Perfect. So then now we can come in and fill in. Sine of theta is going to be 15 over 17. Cosine of theta is going to be 8 over 17. And then tangent of theta is going to be 15 over 8. Good? Great. Let's do another one. Okay. Now, some books or some teachers show you how to do this with triangles instead. I'm just following the unit circle approach because that's the way the AP unit outlined everything, okay? Good, let's look at this next example. Point P is at -3, 4. So again, theta, we're measuring from the positive x-axis this way, and basically that's the terminal side. So this is theta. Okay, x is -3, y is 4, we need r. But remember, x squared plus y squared is r squared. So -3 squared plus 4 squared is going to give us r squared. That's 9 plus 16 is r squared. R squared is 25, which means r is just positive 5, no plus or minus. Okay, so sine theta is going to be y over r, so 4 over 5. Cosine theta is x over r, so -3 over 5. And then tangent theta is y over x, so 4 over -3. Now never leave a negative in the denominator for your final answer. Either move it to the numerator, or you could put it outside the whole fraction, but don't leave it in the bottom, okay? Promise? Oh, good. Okay, let's look at a couple more. Point P is -7, -24. So that means x is -7, y is -24, and then the point ends here. So theta's coming all the way around to here. There's my theta. All right, let's find r. So x squared plus y squared equals r squared. This is these are all famous Pythagorean triples I've been giving you so that they'd come out nice. Have you noticed? Yeah? Okay, good. So 7 squared, that's 49. 24 squared is 576 equals r squared. 576 plus 49 is 625. So r equals plus or minus, nope, just the plus, 25. Good. So then sine of theta is going to be -24 over 25. Cosine theta is also -7 over 25. And then tangent theta is y over x, -24 over -7, which is positive 24 over 7. Good? Okay, beautiful. Last one, we have the point P here, 5, -12. So here's the terminal side, here's the angle theta, x is 5, and y is -12. So we have x squared plus y squared is r squared. So 5 squared plus -12 squared is r squared. 25 plus 144 is r squared. So r squared is 169. Yep, r is 13. So sine of theta is going to be y over r, so negative 12 over 13. Cosine theta is going to be x over r, so 5 over 13. And then tangent of theta is y over x, so that's going to be negative 12 over 5. Good? Okay, so that's just an introduction to sine, cosine, and tangent. We're going to study them in much more depth shortly, so stay tuned. Make sure your notifications are on because I'm going to keep uploading the rest of the unit bit by bit, and make sure you don't miss out whenever I do upload. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and you can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok, Math with Professor V. I'll be back sooner than later, guys. Bye!